Namo Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Anandita. So we are doing today the 12th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam Puran. And Anandita very kindly will be reciting the wonderful Sanskrit slokas. And maybe Lena, would you like to read the English translations?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, and then chapter is entitled The Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Very interesting chapter, this one. So, as they all are, of course, but so you're welcome to start.
Shri Shri Bhagavad Puran ki jai.
Jai.
Chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Sonaka uvacha asvathamno prasrastena brahmasirsnoru tejasha uttaraya hato garbha ishena jivitah punah.
The sage Sonaka said the womb of Uttara, mother of Maharaj Parikshit, was spoiled by the dreadful and invincible Brahmastra weapon released by Aswathama, but Maharaj Parikshit was saved by the Supreme Lord.
Tasya janma mahabudhe karmani cha mahatmanah nidhanam cha yathevase saprityagatavaN yatha.
How was the great Emperor Parikshit, who was a highly intelligent and great devotee, born in the womb? How did his death take place, and what did he achieve after his death?
Tad idam shrotum ichamo gaditum yadi manyase bruhinaha shraddadhananam yasya vyanam adachchukaha.
We all respectfully want to hear about him, Maharaj Parikshit, to whom Sukadeva Goswami imparted transcendental knowledge. Please speak on this matter.
Sutta uvacha api paladharmarajah pitravad ranjayan prajah nihaspriha sarvakamebhyah Krishna padanusevaya.
Sri Sutta Goswami said, Emperor Yudhishthir administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like his father. He had no personal ambition and was freed from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service unto the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna.
Sampadah krattavo loka mahisi bhrataro mahi jambudvipadhipatyam cha yasascha tridivam gatam.
News even reached the celestial planets about Maharaj Yudhishthir's worldly possessions, the sacrifices by which he would attain a better destination, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, his fame, etc.
Kim te kamah surasparha mukunda manaso dvijaha adhijaharur mudam rajyah shudhitasya yathetare.
O Brahmanas, the opulence of the king was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was absorbed in the service of the Lord, nothing could satisfy him except the Lord's service.
Matur garbhagato virah satada bhrigunandana dadarsha purusham kanchid dahyamanostra tejasha.
O son of Raghu, Saudaka, when the child Parikshit, the great fighter, was in the womb of his mother Uttara and was suffering from the burning heat of the Brahmastra thrown by Aswatthama, he could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him.
So just take a quick break there. Let's just find this. Oops. So Yudhishthira's devotional rule. He ruled generously during his reign, exactly like his father, Pandu. The opulence of the king was so enchanting that the heavenly denizens, those who live in the heavenly planets, aspired for it. So heaven is supposed to be very opulent. No unhappiness is there, no illness is there, no poverty is there. But during Maharaj Yudhishthira's rule, the earth was just like the heavenly planet. And those who lived in the heavenly planets wanted to actually come to earth. There's some advantages to come to earth as well. Because earth is regarded to be karma bhumi, is where you do the karmas. And especially if you do akarma, karma that's related to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord, then that will take one back to Godhead. The heavenly planets are generally, you don't get a reaction to anything you do there because you're simply enjoying the fruits of your good karma from the past lives. And when those fruits are over, your time is up, and back down onto earth, we come back again. So the heavenly denizens, even now, they are wanting to come to earth in this time of craziness, Kali Yuga. Why? Because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the process of going back to Godhead has been made very easy in this age of Kali Yuga. So actually, we are very fortunate. We come at the right time to take advantage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So we are actually more fortunate than even the people living in the heavenly planets. Of course, we have to use that fortune, make use of that fortune. Otherwise, we will waste it. But we are very lucky. However, the king was always absorbed in the service of the Lord. Nothing else would satisfy him. And then we just heard about how Maharaj Parikshit was being attacked in the womb. So that's going to be the next section. Okay. Oops.
Anguштha matram amalam spurat puratamolinam api vyadarshanam shamam tadidvasasam achyutam.
Prabhuji, do you want me to carry on?
Yeah, you could.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. He, the Lord, was only thumb high, but he was transcendental. He had a very beautiful, blackish, infallible body, and he wore a dress of lightning yellow and a helmet of blazing gold. Thus he was seen by the child.
Srimad dirgha chaturbahum tapta kanchana kundalam Shata jaksham gadapanim atmanah sarvatodisham paribhramantam ulkabham brahmayantam gadamuhu.
The Lord was enriched with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and eyes blood red with fury. As he loitered about, his club constantly encircled him like a shooting star.
Astra tejah swagadaya niharam iva gopatihi vadhamantam sanikarshe paryeksataka iti yaso.
The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra, just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew. He was observed by the child who thought about who he was.
Mm.
विधूय तद् अमेयात्मा भगवान् धर्मगुविभुः मिसतो दशमासस्य तत्रैवान्तर्दधे हरिः.
While thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once.
Mm.
ततः सर्वगुणोदर्के सानुकूलग्रहोदये ज्ञान्येवं सधरः पाण्डोर्भूयः पाण्डुरिवोजसा.
Thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth.
तस्य प्रीतमना राजा विप्रेधौम्य कृपादिभिः जातकं कारयाम् आस वाचयित्वा च मङ्गलम्.
King Yudhishthir, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmanas, headed by Daumya and Karna, recited auspicious hymns.
Kripa, yeah.
Recited auspicious hymns.
Thank you.
हिरण्यं गामहिं ग्रामान् हस्ति अश्वान् नृपतिर्वरान् प्रादात् स्वानं च विप्रेभ्यः प्रजातीर्थे स तीर्थवीत्.
Upon the birth of a son, the king who knew how, where and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food grains to the Brahmanas.
तम उचुर्ब्राह्मणास्तुस्ता राजानं प्रश्रयान्वितम् एष हि अस्मिन् प्रजातन्तो पुरूणां पौरवर्षभ.
The learned Brahmanas, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus.
दैवेना प्रतिघातेन शुक्ले संस्थाम् उपेयुषि रातो वो नुग्रहार्थाय विष्णुना प्रभविष्णुना.
Okay. Well done, Maji.
The Brahmana said, "This spotless son has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, in order to oblige you. He was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon."
Wonderful. Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So when the child Parikshit was in the womb of his mother, he saw the suffering, the burning heat coming from the Brahmastra. So he felt it. He was suffering from it. This was, of course, thrown by Ashwatthama. And he was very fortunate because the Lord himself came to protect him. And this boy is so sharp. He was looking. He was examining. Who is this? He was really sharp boy. He was just so, he was in the womb. He hadn't even been born. Yet he observed the Lord coming to protect him. The Lord had 4 hands, golden earrings, eyes blood red with fury. His club was constantly encircling him like a shooting star, so to protect him from the Brahmastra. And then suddenly the Lord disappeared from the vision of the baby. So it said that for the rest of his life, when he was born, he was always examining. That's why it was called Parikshit. Parikshit means examiner. He was examining everybody he met. Is this the amazing personality I saw in the womb of my mother? He would examine everybody. So this is why he got his name. And then, of course, he examined Sukadeva Goswami. And that's why we have this Bhagavad Puran.
तस्मान्नाम्ना विष्णुरात इति लोके भविष्यति न संदेहो महाभागवतो महान्.
For this reason, this child will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities.
Mm-hmm.
श्रीराजोवाच अभीष वस्यान् राजर्षिन् पुण्यश्लोकान् महात्मनः अनुवर्तिता स्विद्यसर्षा साधुवादिन सत्तमाः.
The good King Yudhishthir inquired, O great souls, will he become a saintly a king, as pious in his very name and as famous and glorified in his achievements as others who appeared in this great royal family?
ब्राह्मणा उचुः पार्थ प्रजाविता साक्षात् इक्ष्वाकुरिव मानवः ब्रह्मण्यः सत्यसन्धश्च रामो दाशरथिर्यथा.
The learned Brahmanas said, O son of Pratha, this child shall be exactly like King Ikshvaku, son of Manu, in maintaining all those who are born. And as for following the Brahmical principles, especially in being true to his promise, he shall be exactly like Ram, the personality of Godhead, the son of Maharaj Dashratha.
एष दाता शरण्यश्च यथा हि ओसि नरसिभिः यशो वित्तनिता स्वानां दोष्यन्तेरिव यज्वनाम्.
This child will be a munificent donor of charity and protector of the surrendered, like the famous King Sibi of the Usinara country, and he will expand the name and fame of his family, like Bharat, the son of Maharaj Dushyanta.
धन्विनाम् अग्रनीरेश तुल्यश्चान्जुर्नयोर्द्वयोः हुतास इव दुर्धर्षः समुद्र इव दुस्तरः.
Amongst great women, this child will be as good as Arjuna. He will be as irresistible as fire and as unsurpassable as the ocean.
मृगेन्द्र इव विक्रान्तो निसेव्यो हिमवानिव तितिक्षुर्वसुदेवासो सहिष्णुः पितराविव.
This child will be as strong as a lion and as worthy a shelter as the Himalaya mountains. He will be forbearing like the earth and as tolerant as his parents.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's have a look at this section of the Bhagavatam. So 17 to 22. The heir apparent of Pandu, Parikshit, was born when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved. So all the planetary systems aligned for his birth. Yudhishthira Maharaj was very satisfied with the birth of Parikshit and had the purificatory process of birth performed. So this is quite important. When before the child is even born, there is the Garbhodagan Sanskar that is performed by the parents. And once the child is born, there are many samskars to perform, like the grain giving, Andan samskar. These can help one. Samskar means markings on the mind. So they can really help one going forward in one's life. Because these are impressions which are set on the mind, very powerful impressions. They can guide one towards bhakti if done properly. And there's many samskars. There's minimum of 12 in one's life, but there are many more if one wants to do them. Name giving samskars also. So many samskars. Then we have the Brahman giving of the Janoi, Viva samskar. Then of course the ultimate one, which is Antim samskar, the one regarding death. Astrological predictions were made about the child, that he will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the Supreme Lord, and that the child will become a first-class devotee, endowed with all good qualities. So this is the great fortune of the Pandavas, and specifically Parikshit Maharaj, who was a great devotee of the Lord.
पितामह समः साम्ये प्रसादे गिरिसोपमः आश्रयः सर्वभूतानां यथा देवो रमाश्रयः.
This child will be like his grandfather Yudhishthir or Brahma in equanimity of mind. He will be munificent like the Lord of the Kailas hills, Shiva, and he will be the resort of everyone, like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, who is even the shelter of the Goddess of Fortune.
Sarva Sadguna Mahatmye Esha Krishnam Anuvrataha Ranti Deva Ivodaro Yayatir Iva Dharmikaha.
This child will be almost as good as Lord Sri Krishna by following in his footsteps. In magnanimity, he will become as great as King Rantideva, and in religion, he'll be like Maharaj Yayati.
Dhritya Bali Samah Krishne Praharada Iva Sadgraha Ahartaiso Swamedhanam Vridhanam Pariyupasakaha.
This child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj, a performer of many Aswamedha horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old experienced man.
Rajarsinam Janayita Sastha Chotpathagaminam Nigrahita Kaleresa Bhuvo Dharmasya Karanat.
This child will be the father of kings who will be like sages. For world peace and for the sake of religion, he'll be the chastiser of the upstarts and the quarrelsome.
Takshakad Atmano Mrityum Dvijaputropasarjitat Prapatsata Upasrutya Mukta Sangaha Padam Hare.
After hearing about his death, which will be caused by the bite of a snake bird sent by a son of a Brahmana, he will get himself freed from all material attachment and surrender unto the personality of Godhead, taking shelter of him.
Very good. So this section of the Gita, the Bhagavatam, Mother Yudhishthira, very satisfied with Parikshit Maharaj. He will be charitable as Sibi, Lord Shiva, and Rantidev. These were great personalities who have given so much in donation to the extent of giving themselves. Mentally, he will be balanced like Lord Brahma and himself, Yudhishthira himself. Forbearing like the earth, forgiving, and Bali Maharaj. Truthful like Lord Ramachandra, and giving shelter to others like Lord Krishna and Narayan. So this is really very blessing, very big blessing. Above all, Parikshit will be a great devotee of the Lord. He will be wise, thus be able to control everybody. Parikshit is famous for his birth, activities, and his death. Throughout his life, he was protected by Krishna, especially at death. He will go directly back to Godhead. So this is very important that we follow in his footsteps, that we try to serve as much as we can. It may be only a little bit. In fact, it will be only a little bit. How much can we serve? We are only tiny. But whatever we do, the Lord appreciates it. Like we've been discussing the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra, because it's Dasera today, very auspicious day when Ravan was defeated by Lord Ramachandra. So one of the pastimes that took place when they were preparing for the war was when they were making the bridge to cross from from Rameshwar to Lanka. They were making this bridge of stones and rocks, writing the name of Ram on each rock and stone, and placing that on the ocean water. So in this process, there was many living entities who were helping Lord Ramachandra. The monkeys, of course. But especially there was a squirrel who was carrying very small amount of small rocks or pebbles even. And Hanuman, and so he was taking them onto the ocean and placing them. And Hanuman would say to the squirrel, please step out of the way. I might step on you. I've got some very big rocks here, which I'm using in the service of the Lord. And when Lord Ramachandra heard that, he corrected Hanuman, saying that the squirrel is doing as much seva as you are. He's putting his best effort in, like you are. And his best effort might be very tiny in your eyes, but in my eyes, they're equal. Your best effort and his best effort are equal. And this is the greatness of the Lord. This is really, truly amazing that he will not look at the result. He will not look at how much you're doing. He'll look at how you're doing it, with what attitude you're doing it. He won't see that this is nothing or this is something big. No, he will just see it as in accordance with our mood and mentality. If we put our best effort in, no matter how big or small the effort is, the Lord will be pleased. And that's very, very important for us to understand. We have to do our best, our bit. And it's a very little bit. But at least it's something better than nothing.
जिज्ञासितात्मयाथार्थ्यो मुनिर्व्याससुतादसो हित्विदं नृपगङ्गायां यास्यति अधा कुतो भयम्.
After inquiring about proper self-knowledge from the son of Vyasdeva, who will be a great philosopher, he will renounce all material attachment and achieve a life of fearlessness.
Hang on. Yes, good. Thank you.
इति राजा उपादेस्य विप्राजातककोविदाः लब्धापसीतयः सर्वे प्रतिजग्मुः स्वकान् ग्रहान्.
Thus, those who were expert in astrological knowledge and in performance of the birth ceremony instructed King Yudhishthira about the future history of his child. Then, being sumptuously remunerated, they all returned to their respective homes.
स एषा लोके विख्यातः परीक्षिदिति यत् प्रभुः पूर्वं दृष्टम् अनुध्यायन् परीक्षेत नरेश्वरः.
So his son would become famous in the world as Parikshit, examiner, because he would come to examine all human beings in his search after that personality whom he saw before his birth. Thus he would come to constantly contemplate him.
स राजपुत्रो वावर्धे आसु शुक्ला इवोदुपः आपूर्यमानः पितृभिः काष्ठाभिरिव सोन्वहम्.
As the moon in its waxing fortnight develops day after day, so the royal prince Parikshit very soon developed luxuriantly under the care and full facilities of his guardian grandfathers.
यक्षमानो स्वमेधेन यान्ति द्रोहजिहासया राजा लब्धधनो दध्यो नान्यत्र करदण्डयोः.
Just at this time, King Yudhishthir was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get freed from sins incurred from fighting with kinsmen. But he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus funds outside of fines and tax collection.
तद् अभिप्रेतमालाक्ष भ्रातरोच्युतचोदिताः धनं प्रहीनम् आजर्हुरुर् अदिच्छां दिशि भूरिसः.
Understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by the infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient riches from the north left by King Maruta.
तेन संभृता संभारो धर्मपुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः वाजिमेधैस्त्रिभिर्भीतो यज्ञैः समयजद्धरिम्.
By those riches, the king could procure the ingredients for 3 horse sacrifices. Thus, the pious king Yudhishthir, who was very fearful after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of Godhead.
आहुतो भगवान् राजा याजयित्वा द्विजेर्निपम् उवास कति सिन्मासान् सुहृदां प्रियकाम्यया.
Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, being invited to the sacrifices by Maharaj Yudhishthir, saw to it that they were performed by qualified, twice-born Brahmanas. After that, for the pleasure of the relatives, the Lord remained a few months.
ततो राजाभ्यनुजान्तः कृष्णया सह बन्धुभिः ययो द्वारवतीं ब्रह्मन् सार्जुनो यदुभिर्वृतः.
O Saunaka, thereafter the Lord, having paid farewell to King Yudhishthir, Draupadi and other relatives started for the city of Dwarka, accompanied by Arjun and other members of the Yadu dynasty. Hari Bol.
Ibo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well done. Chapter 12, Ki Jai. So let's have a look at this final section. It means examiner because he would examine all living beings in the search after that personality whom he saw before his birth. So he was very fortunate, extremely fortunate. He would be always thinking about that form of the Lord. So at that time, when his birth took place, King Yudhishthira planned to perform a horse sacrifice to get rid of the sins incurred from fighting with family. Lord Krishna, being invited to this occasion, saw to it that it was performed by qualified Brahmins. After that ceremony, the Lord remained for a few months and then returned to Dwarka, accompanied by Arjun and other Yadus. So this shows the closeness of Krishna to the Pandavas. He stayed with them for a few months. How amazing that must have been. So Pandavas are very fortunate. But of course, the beauty of the Lord is he's neutral. He has no likes or dislikes, friends or enemies. If one wants to become close to the Lord, there are no barriers. He will allow anybody to become close to him. If one is not close to the Lord, then of course the Lord will not treat one closely. But nobody is barred from becoming close to the Lord. This is the neutrality of the Lord. Nobody is excluded. So if one is not close, but one wants to become close, that's fine. The Lord will allow anybody to come close to him, and he will reciprocate accordingly. That's what is meant by neutrality. Not that he ignores those who are close to him. No, why would he ignore? He's a person, he's a supreme person. So he also has feelings, divine feelings. And if somebody comes close to him, wants to become close to him, he will reciprocate with that person. But nobody is stopped from getting close to the Lord. That's the point. That's where his neutrality comes into play. Nobody is barred. If they don't have money, it doesn't matter. If they're not intelligent, it doesn't matter. If they're not human, it doesn't matter. Even the monkeys were allowed to serve Lord Ramachandra. So nobody is barred. This is the extraordinary aspect of the Supreme Lord. So any questions, any comments? We finished chapter 12. Thank you so much, Anand Leela, for guiding us, taking us through this wonderful Bhagavatam. And I
Hare
think...
Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Sorry, I made some mistake, but...
No mistakes. Really very, very beautifully read, sung. So congratulations. I think we may not have another Bhagavatam class for some time now because we are going to enter the month of Kartik from next week. And so during that time, we will be doing Damodar bhajans, Kartik bhajans and satsangs. And we will be recalling the wonderful pastimes of Lord Krishna as baby Krishna, and especially this naughty pastime with Mother Yashoda that took place, where he stole the butter from her for the first time and got punished. So, and I think Anand Leela may be also going away for some time. So,
yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But I'll be here next week.
Yes, very good. So, Surinder, anything you'd like to add?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Nitai Gaura Haribol.
Oh,
Very nice chapter, appearance of Parikshit Maharaj Prabhu, very nice, and you nicely explained.
Thank
We
you.
are very fortunate to be able to listen to the Krishna Katha and explanation from you. Yes, so I would like to just quote one prayer recited by Maharaj Parikshit himself.
Yes.
And, O pure Brahmanas, may you kindly know me as a surrendered soul, and let Mother Ganges accept me as one whose heart is offered to Lord Krishna.
Mm.
Let the winged serpent Takshaka, or whatever magical creation has been incited by the son of the Brahmana, bite me immediately if it so desires. May you all simply go on singing the glories of the Lord. Nitai Gaura Haribol Prabhu. So we shall try to follow the footsteps of Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes.
And we beg a drop of mercy from him and all Vaishnavas and our Guru Varga and Guru and Goranga, that we may one day be able to chant Sudhanam and practice Sudhavati. Nitai Gaura Haribol.
No, that's very good. Very, very nice aspiration. Yes, absolutely. The right one. Thank you. So if there's no questions or comments, we can close today's satsang. Yes,
When you start the Kartika program?
Oh, yes. Next, let's have a look. We start 20th of Wednesday onwards.
Okay, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday is Sharad Purnima. So we'll start on Wednesday.
Okay.
First
And
class.
Ekadashi tomorrow.
Oh, Ekadashi tomorrow. So satsang tomorrow at 7:30 in the evening. Vishnu Sahasranam. So every Ekadashi we do this Vishnu Sahasranam. So 7:30 at night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you. Take care. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Nitai Gaura. Thank you.